Okay, so we get that this is probably the most earth-shattering assumption we could question in our society, right? Because everything's keyed around this. We talk about childcare as being a woman's issue. We talk about all of the structures. You look at commercials on TV and the women are cleaning the floors, and apparently women are the only ones who need to buy diapers for their children, right? So it's a really big assumption, and it's been entrenched in us since we were really little girls. We're the ones that had dolls. We're the ones that babysat. And so we buy into this, and we believe that this is how things have to be. And what did it do for us? Well, it signed us up for really 2 full-time jobs, because we were told we can do everything. We can do anything we want. Oh, but then when the child comes along, you got to do that too. And I think that's what's created a lot of this conflict for us. But when you step back and think about it, it's not true. It's something that we've bought into. It's an assumption that lies. But we're not primarily responsible for home and family. We don't have a single destined career path that we have been given by nature and endowed with. The reality is we're all responsible for the home and family. We're all responsible to take care of these children. And where we see that manifest is when a woman gets divorced, the man and the woman split the duties equally, and so it works out all of a sudden, and she just has to get it done, and then she realizes, oh my gosh, I also am responsible to earn a living. And so we've kind of turned it and said, let's reframe this. Let's reframe it that your first priority is to earn a living. Unless you're independently wealthy, you got to take care of yourself, right? And then, just like a man, that's how a man is raised to believe. And then secondarily, when you want all of these other things in your life, you want this full richness, then you figure out how you make that happen, right? Then it's not 2 full-time jobs, it's my full-time job, and then how I integrate everything else, how I fit in my life and my hobbies and my passions and my family. And together we can figure out how to get that done.
Well, men have actually got a lot of pressure. I mean, a lot of men feel pressured by being the breadwinner. And so this is really something men will appreciate as they realise this is not threatening. This is about being a team. And so, if someone has more skills in one area and can step up, and the other one has more skills in a different area, it's complementary. We're not into competition. We're actually into both complementing one another. So, we hear it. Men, may get to middle age and they're saying, I really want to take a break and do something different. If they're really just on the green line and the woman has stepped out, it puts enormous pressure on them to perform, to stay in something they may loathe. So if there was more men living the orange line and women living the orange line, both of them are living their purpose, they're living their vocation, and they're taking responsibility for themselves, and also hopefully modelling to their children that this is the way a partnership works. I know in my own situation with my ex-husband, we always shared the care of the children, and we both pursued the career we wanted, and it worked incredibly well and still does, even though we're divorced.
At first, it does feel hard because we're changing our behavior, and it's like any bad habit. It's hard to change behaviors, and it usually takes a couple of times of practicing to get good at it. Once we get good at it, though, we start realizing how freeing this is, and then you just do it all the time. It's like self-reinforcing. I'll give you an example. So one of our interviewees, she was very overwhelmed at work. She had a lot of projects, and a friend asked her for a project favor. And normally, because of course we want to be nice, she would have just said yes and thrown it on and just done it and been more stressful. Instead, she said no. And she said, I will actually help you find someone else to get that.
Right.
Now, all she did was say no. It's all she did. And it was very hard because it's the first time she ever said no to a friend, but she did it. And the friend was at first taken aback, because that's one of the reasons why it's hard, is people at first will push back because you're asking them to change too, and they don't want to. But she said no. And she stuck through a little bit of the heat that the friend gave her. And then, of course, after she got somebody else for the job, the friend totally forgot about it, and they were still friends, and nothing happened. It was just that first risk that she took. So all you got to do is start little, say no once, push back here, push back there, or even say nothing. Sit back and say nothing. And then take the next step and the next step.